Hi everyone, this is Rick with AmazingAccuracy.com. Today is August 28, 2012. It is currently 5:26 p.m. Central Time. And I'm going to take a break away from doing a market forecast and just give a basic lesson on chart reading. And this is very important because, I think that a lot of people feel they got to put a lot of things on their charts. And I'm not going to say that I don't put things on my charts because I do. But the question is, can you read a chart without all those things on your chart? In other words, can you look at a chart without all those indicators and have a good sense as to what the market is doing? Because if you can't do that, and if you're that dependent on indicators, you could find yourself in a lot of trouble, considering the fact that indicators in themselves are not going to be the best representation of what the market is actually doing. So what I want to do here is just go through some basics, just basic price action training. Okay, I think would be good for beginners as well as even those who have been at this for a while, as a nice little refresher or for maybe something they never thought of. Okay, I have here in front of you a daily chart of crude oil. It's a simple candlestick chart. And when you look at this chart, can you tell immediately which direction crude oil is moving in? If you said up, you'd be correct. Now, you might say, well, whoa, wait, Rick, no, it's moving down. Can't you see from here to here? It's moving down. Okay, this is where you're starting to look at the leaves in the forest. That's not the direction of the market. That there is the direction of a day or two. That's different. That's not a trend. A trend is not a day or two on a daily chart. The trend would be a day or two on a 10-minute chart maybe, or hour chart, or a 5-minute chart. We're looking at a daily chart here. So when you look at a chart, just stand back and look at that chart. Can you tell what direction? Well, it should be real simple. You can tell it went from here to here. What's the angle of the line I just drew? It's up. Clearly, if I went like this, that's not correct, right? So that's real basic, right? You're probably going, okay, Rick, duh, I see it. All right, I just wanted to get my point across. Okay, the market is up. Now, why is it important to know that the market is up? In this case, crude oil. Because if you're going to make consistent profits trading, you're best to trade in the direction that the market is going rather than fighting the market all along the way. When you see this market here is moving up, you can tell that you can get more out of this market in this upward direction than you're going to get from these small corrections along the way. Okay? It's a lot easier to go with the market, and it does allow you to not be so exact in your trade planning rather than if you're trying to fight the trend, where you need to be really, really precise, because you're going to need to get in right when it starts and get out right when it ends on those pullbacks. Okay, when you see something like this, you just ask yourself, what direction is the market going? No indicators, nothing on the chart. Which direction is the market going? The market's going up. True, at some point it won't be going up, but until you see something on the chart that says otherwise, the market's going up. Look to be buying. Don't look to be selling. What I like to do is, once I identify this, and this usually takes like a fraction of a second. I pull up a chart and go, okay, up. I'm going to take a trend line, simple trend line, and I'm going to find the two or more swing bottoms along the way up so I can draw my reference line, my trend line. And you'll notice that it should be parallel to the actual direction the market's going. The market is going from here to here. The line's in the same parallel. Let me see if I can draw a line here and get used to these little line tools and stuff here. Give me a second. Let's see. Line. Here we go. Okay. The market is going in that direction, and my trend line is parallel to that. All right? So that is what you want to identify with your trend line. Now, what else I can do here, instead of this trend line, I'm going to take that off. What I like to do is use channels, for example. And the reason for that is because not only will it give me my trend line support reference for when price is pulling back, but it can give me profit targets as well for moves to the upside. And if you're going to use, for example, I use this swing bottom here, and I use this swing bottom here to create this support trend line that you see here, I'm going to look for the highest point between these two low points that I'm going to anchor my top of the channel, and that just happens to be right here. Okay, I had a choice between this top here, and of course I had choices with tops here and here, but these tops are outside of the range between here and here, so I needed to find something between my two anchor points. That means I had to find something in here. A lot of people, they go, oh, okay, I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to put my bottom here, and then I'm going to put my top over here, something like this. Okay, this is not the correct way to put on your initial channel. Now you can put sub channels if you want. If you just want to start doing a bunch of lines on your chart, that's fine. But this would not be the correct anchor point. If you're going to use these two lows here, you need to use something that's the highest point here. Okay, that's just basic channel drawing. So let me put that back the way it was, that we have something to talk about. Okay, now this is pure logic. If price is trading within this channel or above this channel, would you be buying or would you be selling? Do you want to be a buyer or do you want to be a seller? Okay, well, clearly, as long as we are above this bottom line here, we don't care where it is above, the direction is still up. So we want to look for buys. Now, the buys, of course, are going to be, is going to be when prices pull back towards this line. The best ones, of course, are like these here. And here we have another situation where price is coming back to this line. So we may decide, okay, if it comes over here, or if price goes above this line here, we're going to go ahead and buy it. And you can do that. Your profit target would be the top of the channel. This is where you'd be aiming for to take off part of your position or maybe all of your position. That's up to you. All right, very simple. No indicators, nothing. We can easily see which direction the market is going. Once prices start to trade below this channel, then we can start to look at it like, okay, we're no longer up, we're moving down. Okay, and that's when that happens, is when you can start changing your bias. But until then, it's simple. We're moving up. Now, if we go over to the weekly chart of crude oil in this case, you can quickly see which direction the prices are going longer term. They have been moving up. So why would you want to be selling this market when it's clearly up here and it's clearly up here? Okay? And again, we could just apply simple. I'm going to find two extreme points along the bottoms here. I don't care if they're weekly swing bottoms or not. If they're extremes, if they stick out, I want to encapsulate that just so that I have a reference for when prices start to dip below that reference line. I will know that something is changing, that the market is now starting to behave differently than it had been when it was moving from here to up to here. But so far, as long as it's above this line and trading above this line, I'm going to want to be a buyer on the short term here. Okay, If price starts to trade below this line here, starts going down below this line, well, naturally then on this daily chart, prices are likely already going below this channel, and I'm going to want to redraw my line and start looking for sell opportunities. While I'm on the weekly chart here, I can find some other reference points. For example, when prices are like from here, this top, weekly top, prices moved all the way down to here, and then it's been moving up, but notice it has not moved up as far as it had moved down. This is a retracement of this downward move. Well, when you have a retracement of a nice downward move like this, normally that retracement is going to top out. It's going to end prior to reaching all the way back to the beginning. Not always, but you know, it's like 95% of the time. I mean, it's most of the time. You know, it's going to stop at the 25, the 37%, the 50%, the 62%, the 74 or 8%. You know, it's going to hit at some percentage of this downward move, which represents 100% move down. So you know that at some point we're not going to be moving up, that our weekly is going to start moving down, which again would be in a retracement of this move up. 25%, 37%, 50%, 62%, 75%. You see what I'm saying? So until it does that, until the market shows you that it intends to do that, go with the direction that it is handing to you and saying, look, I'm above the line. I'm moving up. I'm not retracing yet. You see this weekly bar here? Okay, so far this is only 1 day's worth of trading, which was yesterday, Monday. Okay, when this bar is complete is when it's got Monday through Friday, because it's a weekly bar. And so far it has found support at this line. Now if today or tomorrow or all the way to the end of the week it starts trading further below, and especially if it closes below this line, we may have a change of direction here. And it's probably going to be reflected on the daily chart as well, with prices closing below that upward channel that we just saw. So we want some references. Meanwhile, we're up. I'm going to get a trend line here, and I'm going to go back to these previous tops that I see right here. And I'm just going to kind of go off of the two significant ones and plug that in, because it's given me now a frame of reference to where we might have resistance. Notice that price has come up to this resistance line and it's pulled back to the support line. Right now we're at a point of decision here. I call this an apex. This is where, you know, you have an angle, two angles, like the apex of a triangle. So it's called an apex. This is where the angle would be calculated and so forth. This is a decision point. Why? Because either price will move here, or price will move here, or price could actually just move sideways into here. But if it moves sideways, guess what? It's now above this downward line, which is still bullish. But it's below here, so you have to be careful, because it would still be sideways or bearish. So if it breaks above, bullish. If it's below, bearish. Moving in here, sideways. Lines can tell you these things. Another thing you can do, very simple, no indicators now. We have not used one indicator, and yet we've got loads of information about this market. So far we know we're going up. So far we know there's a possibility that we might pause and start retracing. We know that if price moves below the line, we're going bearish. We know if it breaks above this line, we're going to continue bullish. It's not ready to back off yet. We've got all that information. Right now we're still buyers in crude, especially on the day chart, right, between the channels. We've got these previous swing bottoms that we have on the chart here. Provides a lot of information. For example, I could put a horizontal line here in support. Okay, back in the past, you know, it may have served as resistance. Here it served as support. Here it was a resistance. Here it was support. Here was a support, and now it serves as resistance. Okay, support becomes resistance, becomes support. All right. Anything that was once support becomes resistance, and vice versa. Well, as prices start backing off here, I'm going to see if there's any kind of support down here somewhere. And so I can see that we've got support here and support here that were basically the same level. So I'm going to put my line there. Okay. And oh, and it was resistance there. You see price climbed up, hit it, came down. Here price came down, hit it, went up. Here price came down, hit it, went up. Here price made its little support on it. So even here it was temporary support. So this value here may provide support if prices move down below this line here. So these are good things to know. In the path of prices, do we have resistance or support in the path? Very simple to do, and you can do it for all of these down here and see if they've here we can see that major support, for example. So we know that if price ever moves back down here, we definitely want to keep an eye on that because it was definitely major support. So no indicators, okay? This is just simply price action. Going back to the daily again, a simple channel type drawing here. I'm not even looking at patterns. I mean, I don't care about the patterns so much. I just want to see what direction is prices going. Well, right now prices are making, you know, this higher swing bottom thing going on here. You can see it went up higher, then it came down, and then we see it was correcting, found support. Now it's back up again. Are we just, so far we're just retracing this. Now you know what might be curious, I'm just going to do this out of curiosity, but I'm going to put a retracement thing on here. I'm going to do it while I'm on video. I have not tried this yet, okay, but I'm just curious if it will fall on my channel. Okay, and it looks like here that 38% is also on this channel line. So there's always a possibility that we could have support here at 38%, which is a retracement of this move up and this trend line up. And if I saw price stop here, for example, I'm gonna want to look for possibly buying that, and I'm definitely going to put my stop loss below that because it would be breaking channel and support. Anyway, this video is long enough. I just wanted to show just some really basic chart reading technique using trend line, channel lines. Nothing else. Nothing else. I already know crude oil right now is bullish. I'm only going to look to buy until the market shows me that it is now going in the opposite direction, and then I'll start looking for sells. Thanks again for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And please come visit me at my website at www.amazingaccuracy.com. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.